Let's talk about reflexive verbs today. So, you guys know how regular verbs work. Reflexive verbs have a pronoun on the end. Has a say at the end, and we got to do something with that. So, if you get a regular verb like bañar, like yo baño al perro, that just means like I bathe the dog or I wash the dog. Now, when you add a se on the end, usually it means you're doing something back on yourself. So, bañarse or bañarse would be yo me baño, I bathe myself. You use these reflexive verbs to start to talk about the things that you do to yourself or to oneself. Okay? So, one thing to remember is your new pronouns, your reflexive pronouns, are going to match who you're conjugating it for. So, this se is going to change depending on who's doing the action. So, for yo form, you're going to use me. For tu form would be te. For él, ella, or usted, it would be se. For nosotros, nos, vosotros, os, ellos, ellas, ustedes would be se again. Okay? So let's look at a verb like bañarse. To conjugate the verb bañarse, you're going to take this pronoun, change it to one of these guys, and put it right in front. Okay? So you would have yo me baño, tú te bañas, él, ella, usted se baña, nosotros nos bañamos, vosotros os bañáis, ellos, ellas, ustedes se bañan. Now, this would just be yo me baño, I bathe myself, you bathe yourself, he or she or you formal, you bathe yourself, nosotros, we bathe ourselves, vosotros, you guys bathe yourselves, ellos, ellas, ustedes, you guys bathe yourselves, or they bathe themselves. They're doing something to each other. A couple things to note on these. You really don't want to get your pronouns messed up because then you have really embarrassing situations. If you say me bañas, that's awkward real quick. That means you bathe me, and you don't want to misspeak. It's hilarious, but it can be embarrassing. So be careful of that one. You can see sometimes the meaning changes with these guys. You got aburrir is to bore somebody, aburrirse, to get bored. Acostar is to put to bed, acostarse is to go to bed or to put yourself to bed. Bañar is to bathe, bañarse is to take a bath or to bathe yourself. Cansar is to tire. Like if you have a lot of energy and you tire somebody out, that would be cansar. Cansarse is to get tired. Colocar is to place something, like to set something down. Colocarse is to place yourself or to get a job. So the meaning changes quite a bit more on that one. Engañar is to deceive, like to trick somebody. Engañarse is to make a mistake or to deceive yourself or to lie to yourself. Esconder is to hide, like to hide something. Esconderse is to hide yourself. Parar is to stop something from happening, for example. Pararse is to control yourself, to stop yourself. Sentar is another example, is to seat or to sit somebody. Sentarse is to sit yourself down. So like if you go to a restaurant, the waiter will sentar you, he will seat you to tell you where to seat. Sentarse is you sit yourself down. Sometimes the meaning is not so obvious. Abonar is to pay money. Abonarse is to subscribe. So the meaning doesn't really seem reflexive at all. Acusar, to accuse. Acusarse, you're accusing yourself, you're confessing. Some of these, if you go super literal on it, then it'll make sense. But it sounds funny at first, so that's why I wanted to go over them. Cerrar, for example, is to close, like you close the door. Cerrarse, on the other hand, is to close yourself off emotionally, is to be emotionally unavailable. Ir is to go. This is a common one you'll see. But irse is to go away. Like if you use it as a command, like vete, and be like, get out of here, go away, leave, beat it. Poner is to place or to put. Ponerse is to become or to put on, like clothing. Or you'd use it with emotions, like ponerse triste is to become sad. You have a whole nother section of verbs that are reflexive, but they don't make sense to an English speaker. It's like, why would that be reflexive? Just take my word for it. They are. And you probably would never use these unless they're reflexive. So in a non-reflexive form, nobody uses them. So you got apoderarse is take possession of, apresurarse, aprovecharse, burlarse. That's a common one to make fun of. So I would say, me burlo de tu cara. I'm making fun of your face. It's not very nice, but that's how you'd say it. Desayunarse is to have breakfast. You could think of it as like, I'm going to eat me some breakfast. Desmayarse, escaparse. There's a lot of these that don't make sense to an English speaker. It doesn't make sense to make them reflexive if you're thinking in English. So don't think in English and you'll be good.